Hi, here's May, and a while ago I decided to challenge my traditional art skills by drawing every ensemble stars character that is in a unit. Over the course of 48 days I drew one character every day, and with traditional art the good thing is that you don't have to put in as much time as when you also color. The drawings I'll talk about took me about 1 to 2 hours. I also tend to not be as perfectionistic with it as with digital art, since I don't have as many tools, for example the transform tool or mirroring the canvas, which just enables me to work faster, but as a result the drawings may not always turn out as good. In this video I'll talk about each character, but only for around 15 seconds since there are lots of characters and I don't want this video to take too long. What I'll say are notes I made every day after finishing the drawing, and making these notes really helped me to figure out what my current fear points when drawing are, and also that on some days drawing just is a lot easier to me than on other days. I'll also be ranking all the characters into 2 tier lists. One for how difficult they were to draw, and one for how much I like how the drawing turned out. Alongside this, I'll show you a very sped up version of a reel that shows parts of the drawing process for a character. It's sped up because I'll only talk about each character briefly. I'm going through the characters in the order I drew them in, and now let's start. First we have Eichi from the Unifine. The eyes of this drawing didn't turn out completely symmetrical. I like how the shading turned out and the face shape, and I also liked drawing his hair. Next, Wataru. I love drawing his long hair a lot, and the face and the hands look pretty good to me too. For Tori, the shading on the clothes is what stood out to me and looks nice. The face works, but the eyes might be a bit off. The last member of Fine is Yuzuru. For him, the eyes look a bit off and are maybe too small, and I struggled a lot with the face. Now let's move on to Trickstar. First, for Hokuto, his eyes might be a bit off, and the shoulders and the upper body don't look that right to me. Next, Subaru. For him again, the upper body looks a bit off, and the eyes maybe too. The hands turned out nice to me. Next, Makoto. I struggled a lot with the face especially. I even drew it completely too small at first, and you can still see some lines from this. And also adding the glasses and the overall symmetry of the face just was very hard to figure out. The hands look okay, but are a bit weird. And the upper body in relation to hand and neck just looks wrong to me. It's too far to the right. And now for Mao. I struggled with the symmetry of the face, especially the shape and also the eyes, the size and the roundness of them. The upper body works and the hands as well. The eyes aren't very symmetrical, but the rest is okay to me. Now we move on to Ryusetai. First for Chiaki. Something about the eyes looking in the same direction was not working. The overall face might be a bit too long. The hair and body work. Getting the hands right was kind of hard, especially the second hand with fist. I didn't know where it should be at first, and also getting the size right. Not having it to look too blocky was difficult. In the final drawing, the right pupil and iris are too far to the left. Kanata. His face worked almost directly. I didn't have to do lots of fixes, and making sure the eyelashes have the same size was important here. The hands also worked. The left hand was a bit harder to get right. I had to figure out the hair and size of it a bit, but it also worked pretty quickly. In the end, the hands might be a bit too small. For Tetsuru, I tried lots of hand poses and I wanted to include a fist somewhere. I struggled with the face shape. The size of the hair, hands, and also the outfit worked pretty nicely. The neck may be a bit long and the eyebrows could be angled more downwards. The fourth member is Midori, and for him I wasn't sure about what kind of mouth to do at first, open or closed. I struggled with the eyes position a bit, but overall the face worked out pretty quickly. I wanted to do a hand on the face first, but then did the hand behind the neck and on the chin. The body and hands worked out well. The size of the body, hands, and also the hair worked out well. And finally, Shinobu. I wasn't sure about the hand pose for him, and I wanted to make it feel like a ninja pose since he likes ninjas a lot. And the face at the beginning was not tilted right, but having to draw a second eye made the whole process easier. The hair and clothes worked fine, except for the right arm. I struggled with the folds a bit. Now let's talk about members from the unit Alkaloid. I tried a few poses for the left hand and I didn't struggle with the head and body too much, only the face and the eye symmetry a bit. And for me, Hiro's hair has lots of detail, or in general is more complicated compared to the other characters. His right hand overall might have turned out too big. Now for Aira, I struggled with the face symmetry a lot again, something that happened a lot when I drew faces from the front. The hands, the body and the hair worked out nicely. For the face shape with the symmetry, what I struggled with was that the face in general should have the same volume on each side, the chin being in the middle, the mouth being rounded in the same way. Overall, Aira has very small eyebrows and pretty big eyes. For Mayoi, I didn't know which hand pose I wanted to do directly, and the hairstyle and the eyebrows are kind of special for him. I struggled with the eye symmetry a little and the hairstyle because of the braid and also the eyebrows since they are turned upwards. Overall, the drawing turned out pretty messy. Lastly, for Tatsumi, I struggled with the hands a bit at first, and in the end they turned out too small compared to the head to me. Face looks a bit long, especially the nose, and also the expression just doesn't look too great to me. I like the hair and the eyes, they look okay to me in this drawing. Now for members of Eden. First, for Ren, it was difficult to get the body pose right and working. The left arm is still too short. The face and the hair worked out pretty well. Next for Hiyori, I almost had no struggles, only with the face shape a little bit, and I like how it turned out, but the hands might be a bit too big. Next for Ibara, the eyes are a bit too high up on the face and I struggled with the pose in the beginning. And also what was interesting about him was that he has glasses and the head overall might be a bit too big. Finally for Yoon, I struggled with his hair a bit and mouth symmetry. The hands worked right away. The outfit was pretty easy to draw and the face symmetry as well. Now we move on to Valkyrie. For Shu, I struggled with the face symmetry and the face shape and also the eyes a bit. The outfit and hand poses worked. The hairstyle is not that complicated since it's rather short, but for the outfit, the pattern made drawing him a bit more complicated. The eyes turned out too big to me. And for Mika, the eyes might be a bit too far apart. I wasn't sure about how to draw his mouth. The hair might be too small. The hands and the outfit worked out nicely. For Twink, we have Aoi, and I struggled with his face symmetry a lot. The left arm might also be too long. The rest worked out fine. And for Yuta, his face was pretty easy to get right, and his hands might be too small, especially the left. I struggled with the body and the pose a bit, especially for the right hand. Overall, the hand poses look kind of weird to me. Now we move on to Crazy Bee. First for Rinne, his eyes were way too high up on the face at first. I only fixed it in the end. It looks better, but it still looks weird to me. The size of the hair, because of the hairband, was interesting to draw. Next for Himaru, I struggled with his eye symmetry a lot, and one eye was longer than the other, for example, at first. The hair size was also kind of difficult to get right, and the rest worked out fine. His face just looks too big to me still. For Kuhaku, I struggled with the eye size and face shape a bit. The right eye was too small at first. The hair, the hands and the outfit worked out okay, but the hair might be too big for the head. For Nikki, I struggled with the face symmetry once again, and for this especially how turned the eyes should be and where the face outline, the chin and jaw should be. The rest worked out well. Next we move on to members from the unit Undead. For Ray, drawing him was pretty easy for some reason. I struggled a little bit with the eye symmetry and the face shape, but the rest worked out well. But the face might be a bit too big and wide. For Kuru, it was very easy to draw again. Only the eye symmetry was something I struggled with a bit. The hair was fun to draw, but face turned out a bit wide maybe as well, like with Ray. Next for Koga, the face and its symmetry didn't work to me when drawing at first. Getting the eye shape to be right and so on was hard, and while drawing the hair was shifted too much to one side at first, and I had to erase it and draw it again. For Adonis, the face turned out way too wide to me. I fixed it a bit in the end. The pose was pretty different from others because the arm was in front of the body, but it was interesting to draw. Now we move on to Rabbits, the unit. Tomoya was very easy to draw, and I only struggled with the eyes a bit. In contrasting to this, Nazuna was not as easy to draw. I struggled with the face a lot, especially just because of the angle. It turned out a bit weird. I had to figure out the hands, but overall they worked. The body turned out okay to me. Next, for Mitsuru, I struggled with the pose a bit, the positioning of the arms especially. It was very fun to draw and I like it a lot. The hair was different from most other hairstyles, but it was not very hard to draw. I struggled with the face shape a bit, but not too much since one eye was also closed, which made drawing him easier. And finally, for Hajime, the hands might be too small in the end, and I struggled with the face and eye symmetry a bit once again, but the rest worked out fine. Now we move on to Akatsuki. For Kaito, I struggled with his face a lot. The position of the nose and mouth were difficult to get right, and I noticed that usually I draw face features on a curved line when I'm drawing them on a head, but for this head angle I wanted to try drawing them using mostly parallel lines, since I saw that in some other illustrations, but yeah, I struggled with this, and in the end the hands also turned out too small to me. Now for Kuro, I struggled with the hands and their pose and size, and then I also struggled a lot with the face and the symmetry. I redrew the face a lot, and the hair was also difficult to get right because to draw in the hairline and I didn't get to draw bangs. The last member of this unit is Soma. His hair was nice to draw. I didn't really struggle with his face, but it could have turned out better to me. The pose was okay, but the shoulders maybe look a bit weird. The pose is okay, but the shoulders look a bit weird to me. Now we move on to Switch. For Natsume, I struggled a bit with the pose, and the arms still might not work in the final drawing. I struggled with the face too again, but not as much as usual. The hair worked out really well and was a lot of fun to draw, and at first the eyes for him were too rounded, and for ensemble stars characters I find that there are these small differences in the eyes that really make the characters look like they are the characters, apart from the hairstyle, eye color and so on. Next, for Tsumugi, drawing him was not too hard, but drawing the glasses was a bit difficult. In the end the chin might be too low. Then for Sora, overall I didn't struggle much and the hands worked out very nice, but the face might have turned out too long. And we're nearing the end with the unit Knights. For Tsukasa, the hair size was a bit too long at first. I struggled with the face. The head was too small at first, and getting the hands to be at the right size was also kind of difficult. Next, for Leo, I don't like how this drawing turned out. The face looks too long to me, and the body and the shoulders look kind of weird. The hands turned out fine, and the hair could be better, and yeah, also the shape of the head in general, but when drawing it, it wasn't very difficult to draw. Next, for Izumi, I struggled with his face and the symmetry of the eyes, just like with so many other of these drawings. The rest worked pretty well, but the right hand might be a bit too big. Next we have Ritsu. Drawing his face was not too difficult, but the nose was not in the middle of the face at first. It was too far off to one side, and the jaw turned out too pointy and wide to me. I would want it to look more rounded. His hair was easy and fun to draw. Drawing the outfit was fun as well, having this oversized jacket. The hands were also okay to draw. Now we move on to Urashi. I struggled with the pose a lot, especially with the hand poses. They were very complicated to me. In general, getting the length of the arms right and also getting the length of the arms right. In the end, the body turned out too thin and the face too long. The symmetry of the eyes might also not work. And the final drawing for this video will be of Madara from the unit Ma'am. Drawing him worked out pretty well. The face almost immediately worked. Drawing his hair was a bit complicated, but not too difficult, and his body was too small or thin at first. And with that, I talked about all of the ensemble star character drawings. If you're wondering about how I came up with all the poses, I didn't really come up with them myself. I used a lot of Pinterest references and tried to make characters within a unit have a pose that fits to the others oftentimes. For example, for rabbits, pretty obvious, I had them all make these hard hand poses. And every day I added references of the character I was currently drawing to a huge mood board, and now when I want to draw any enstars character I can come back to this mood board and I don't have to look up new references, which is nice. For fun I also made a tier list just ranking how much I like all of the characters myself, since I like ensemble stars a lot. And in case you have any comments on what your drawings you like the most, or just about ensemble stars or drawing challenges, you can leave them below the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can find all the drawings I showed in here as well as the reels on these accounts I'm showing on screen now. But I'm probably still uploading on there since I want to upload one character a day. In the videos I also use ensemble stars music, which would be copyrighted here on YouTube, but it was also a lot of fun to add the music that would fit to the character and in which the character sings. But that's it for this video. I hope you have a great day and goodbye.